So I don't know if I said the price yet, but this is $1,000. What just happened? To be honest, I'm pretty nervous. I'm kind of scared. I'm just overthinking everything right now. Today, I'm gonna be turning my Rubik's Cube mosaics into sellable art pieces and hopefully make my first sale worth potentially thousands of dollars. So let's get one thing straight. I am not an artist. I never have been. I've never sold a single art piece. I've never made a single dollar selling art. I've spent the past couple of years making social media videos, showcasing my Rubik's Cube art, but that's been my only claim to art fame. But here's the thing, a lot of people have asked me if my mosaics were for sale, and when they found out that they weren't, they suggested that I should definitely be selling them. So I thought, why not give it a shot? The main reason I've never sold these massive Rubik's Cube mosaics is because the logistics behind that would be a nightmare. From the size of these mosaics, which as you can see is pretty massive and weighs a ton, to the cost of ordering thousands of cubes, building custom frames, figuring out shipping, figuring out packaging, it's a whole ordeal. And I didn't want to mess with that. But I think I figured out a way around this. Let me show you. Okay, so check this out. I've been doing some research and I found this website called TwistPixel, which is basically made for exactly what I need. They have affordable mini Rubik's Cubes, and as you can see, a big discount when you order 500. And then I was trying to think about the frame, and I scrolled a little bit, and they even have these custom peel and stick invisible mosaic frames, which will basically allow me to turn my mosaics into hangable art pieces, and it'll give each piece a cool 3D look and feel when you look at it from the sides, without having to cover the sides, which would have been the case with the traditional shadow box or frame that I was looking to use. They're also based in the United States, so that's a huge plus because it's gonna save us a lot of time and a lot of costs on shipping. Okay, so I went ahead and I ordered 500 mini Rubik's Cubes, which should be around 24 by 30 inches based on my calculations, which I think will be a nice size to hang on any wall. I also ordered one of the frames that I showed you, and I got some Mod Podge, which I think when I apply to the final piece will give it a nice shine. I invested about $500, which includes material and my time, so my goal is to make at least that much back. So while I wait for the cubes and the frame to be delivered, I've been thinking about what I'm gonna design. And I started thinking about my inspirations. So I'm a big fan of street art, pop culture art, and artists like Banksy, Invader, and Andy Warhol, to name a few. So I think I narrowed it down to two ideas. The first one is Scrooge McDuck, and the second is Mona Lisa. Okay, so check this out. Here's the Mona Lisa that I created. I decided to add a green bar over her eyes for literally no reason. I just feel like it gives it a little bit of a mysterious look, that street art vibe to it. And I added the yellow background because it gives more contrast with the blue hair. I tried white and red and some different colors in the background. They just didn't look as nice. Here is my Scrooge McDuck. I also decided to go with the yellow background because white would definitely not work. Green just didn't look good. Blue won't work either. And then I just like the contrast with the yellow. I also added the dollar signs instead of his eyes because obviously he loves money. But I'm having a hard time deciding which one to go with because I kind of like them both for different reasons. And I think I know exactly who to ask. Babe, you gotta help me decide. Mona Pixella or swipe Scrooge McDuck the other way. No questions asked.
Scrooge McDuck.
All right. Emma, you gotta help me decide. Which one do you like more? Mona or Scrooge? Scrooge? All right, done. So check this out. The cubes have finally arrived. Great looking cubes, all 500 of them in this big box. They look amazing. Also, check this out. This is the frame, it's basically half my size. So now that we have all the material to begin, I need to find a gallery to sell it in. I don't want to start working on the actual piece because some galleries have a certain style or theme that they like to stick to. So I want to make sure that I reach out to these galleries and align with the design and make sure it'll get accepted before I start working on it. So I have a gallery update. I spent some time Googling art calls near me, and I found a gallery called Art Town in Grapevine, Texas, which is pretty close to where I live. And they have a Yeehaw group exhibition coming up soon. So I applied and got accepted, but they recommended that I stick with the Western theme, hence the name Yeehaw Group Exhibition. But I really like my Scrooge design, so I thought, why not turn his top hat into a cowboy hat? And check this out, here's what I came up with. So I sent the design to the gallery and they loved it. We spoke a little bit further, and obviously, like all galleries, they take about 40 to 50% commission. So that's a huge chunk, but they're also giving me a platform essentially to display my art, which without them, I wouldn't have. And they also handle packaging and shipping, which is a huge plus. So let's get to work. This design will take me approximately 10 hours to create from start to finish. It's gonna take me a little longer than creating my mosaic with my regular sized Rubik's cubes, mainly because these smaller cubes are slightly harder to twist and turn, as you can imagine. The final piece will stand in at approximately 24 inches in width, 30 inches in length, and about 2 inches in depth, which includes the frame. I really like that I ultimately decided to create Scrooge McDuck out of these cubes because it blends the colorful fun of a classic cartoon and a classic toy, which basically is like combining innovation and nostalgia in one piece. So now that I've created the mosaic, it's time to invert the image. In order to put the frame on the back for it to be a hangable art piece, I need to rotate the entire piece and stick the frame to the back of it. So this process is gonna add about an extra 30 minutes, and I need to make sure I'm rotating each piece very carefully since I won't be able to see the final image when it's facing downwards to know if I misplaced any cube. Okay, so check this out. Why does this actually look really good inverted? This might actually have to be its own art piece someday. Let me know if you agree or completely disagree, but I personally think it's super cool. I have these 4 metal bars with rubber bands, which I'm gonna place around the mosaic to act like a temporary frame so I can make sure that the mosaic is perfectly straight on all sides. It's time to stick the frame to the back. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous about this step because it has to be perfect. I'll remove the metal bars after I stick the frame to the back. This is actually perfect. I'm gonna put some weight on it and I'll come back tomorrow to check it out. All right, so it's been about 24 hours since we stuck the frame to the back of the mosaic. We're about to flip it over. Hopefully it's stuck just fine. I also have some Mod Podge with me that we're gonna apply to the front of the image to give it a nice shine. All right, so let's get these boxes off first. And now I'm gonna remove the metal bars from all sides of this mosaic. All right, moment of truth. We're about to find out if this frame actually stuck to the mosaic and if we have ourselves an art piece. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. This thing is actually perfect. So much cooler and nicer than I actually expected it to be. All right, now I'm about to apply some Mod Podge to the front and let it dry for a few days. I'm hoping it'll add a little extra adhesion to the entire piece and also give it a nice shine and protect the Rubik's Cube stickers from coming off if someone messes with them. So I also went ahead and created this certificate of authenticity, which I personally think is super cool whenever they're included with art pieces that are sold. It's gonna include the title, medium, size, year, edition, date issued, and my signature, just to provide that proof of originality, especially since this piece is gonna be a one of one. So now that this is filled out, we're gonna put it in here along with a sticker that I created. And now it's time for the montage of the final piece. Now it's time for pricing, which to be honest has probably been the hardest part of this entire process so far. Mainly because I don't want it to be too expensive and I feel like I'm ripping people off, but at the same time I know how much time and effort and love I poured into this piece, so I don't want it to be too cheap either. So after calculating the cost of materials, the cost of the commission that the gallery is going to take, and my time, I spoke to a few other artists and took their advice, and I believe selling this piece for $2,500 makes the most sense. All right, check this out. Scrooge is loaded up, secured, and ready to be delivered. So I just got home from Art Town Gallery where I dropped off Scrooge McCube. He is officially at the gallery. He's about to be displayed. They have an opening night reception for the Yeehaw exhibition soon, which Anna and I will be attending, so stay tuned. All right, it is the day of the opening reception, which is happening in just a few hours. And to be honest, I'm getting pretty nervous. I've just been really excited about this entire process so far, and I don't want anything to go wrong. And I'm worried that if something goes wrong, if the piece doesn't sell in 30 days, if people think it's too expensive, if I get some negative feedback, Is this gonna discourage me to follow this path that I've been excited about? Am I not gonna wanna explore this opportunity again in the future? So I'm just overthinking it obviously right now. Hopefully everything goes well. I'm just really excited, so we'll see what happens.
Babe, where are we going?
We are going to Our Town Gallery for the EHAW Group exhibition opening night reception to see Scrooge McDuck on display for the first time. Are you excited?
Super excited.
I'm basically an artist.
You are an artist.
Walking into the gallery and seeing my art hung up and displayed for everyone to see was one of the coolest experiences I've ever been a part of. Watching people take pictures of the piece and saying things like, "I've never seen anything like this before," without knowing that I was the artist behind the art, was such an amazing feeling that I can't even describe. I'll definitely never forget this moment. So I just got a notification on Instagram that I was tagged by Our Town Gallery, and I went to check it out, and guess what? Babe, guess what?
What?
My Scrooge McCube officially sold.
Woo!
Yay! The piece sold in just 6 days to someone all the way across the world in Australia for $2,500. I honestly can't even believe it right now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want anything you saw in this video, the links are in the description. Let's go.